It's all about that bass, about that bass, about that bass. It's all about that bass, about that bass, about that bass. It's all about that bass, about that bass, about that bass. It's all about that bass, about that bass. Oh yeah. You know, oddly enough, I actually like that song quite a bit. But what do you think that lady was talking about when she was talking about a bass? I don't know. She's probably talking about butts. Everybody's talking about butts nowadays. Yeah, you kind of have a point there. You got Iggy Azalea, Jennifer Lopez, Nicki Minaj, and now this mystery lady that I've never seen before up until now. Everybody's talking about butts. That's weird. What exactly are we supposed to be talking about again today? Fat shaming? Oh yeah, that's right, fat shaming. What's going on, everybody? Zer's here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about fat shaming. So, I'm going to open up this video by saying being fat is the first world problem to end all first world problems. Why? Because being fat quite literally means that you have an abundance of food to eat. It means you have an abundance, and you eat so much food that your body's like, well, you know, I can't waste this shit, so let me just put it off in storage, okay? Because, you know, all fat really is, it's just stored energy, right? So yeah, I think being fat, it is the quintessential first world problem, okay? It means we have enough fucking food to sustain ourselves, not only so we can, like, live, but more than enough to live. And it's ridiculous how we view, you know, fat. I mean, back in the day, historically speaking, you know, being overweight was actually a sign of wealth. You know, some lady who did TED Talks kind of glossed over this point of fact a little bit. But yeah, you know, being overweight, being fat was a sign of wealth. It was a sign that you had money and you could buy food, and being skinny meant that, well, you couldn't. Well, now, okay, so in society, for some odd reason, we have two extremes battling each other, right? You have the fat acceptance movement and the fat shaming movement, and then you have the skinny shaming bullshit, and then you have all the anorexic girls who think being skinny is really, really fucking attractive. And they're completely fucking delusional, by the way. Let's just throw that in there. So fat shaming. So what is fat shaming? Fat shaming is basically when you make fun of a fat person for being fat, or when you call someone out for being fat. So I did a video a little while ago about this one lady who talked about this cruel letter that she got from some guy who turned out to be a fitness expert, and she was upset, you know, because someone called her out for being fat. And I'll have to throw this in here before I really get to the nitty-gritty of this whole fat shaming and fat acceptance movement. I completely understand that losing weight for specific people is a challenge, and really it's just a challenge overall, especially if you fed yourself up to, you know, 300 pounds and whatnot, especially if you're a woman too, because the way estrogen works in a female's body is that it cleans and stores fat a lot more than it does for men. And the reason why is because women use fat to incubate the baby inside the womb. You know, it's biological. And a lot of women, after they go through pregnancy, don't exercise to get rid of the fat, and then they usually, sometimes when they get pregnant right after the first child, and then the fat just builds, and, you know, all that goodness. And so when you get up to a level, you know, there are certainly some people in the world who definitely do need help losing weight. Definitely a lot of people in the world, you know, we can definitely empathize with and try to help them lose weight. But by and large, you know, and I guess large is the key word here, these people have to realize that being fat is not healthy, and that is the next part of the video. So while I completely understand, you know, losing weight is a struggle, you know, the whole fat acceptance thing blows my fucking mind, to where you have these overweight women who are clearly not fucking healthy. There's clearly scientific evidence to support the fact that being fat isn't healthy, with all the different diseases like diabetes, and, you know, clearly too much pressure on your fucking heart, clearly all these clogged damn arteries, clearly there are fucking problems with being fat. And then you have this whole fat acceptance movement to say, well, you know, all shapes and sizes, you're beautiful, you're perfectly fine for being fat. Well, the truth of the matter is, you're not. You're not perfectly fine being fat. Now, being chubby is one thing. You know, it's okay to have a little bit of a pouch. It's okay to have a little bit of fat on you. You know, I mean, some people might not find that attractive, but then again, there's lots of shit people don't find fucking attractive. So that's not new. But obesity, again, when it becomes a physical detriment to you, is completely fucking different from being aesthetically pleasing. Those are two different concepts. And when you're obese, the very last fucking thing you need to worry about is whether or not you can get some dick or whether or not you can get some pussy. The most important thing to you should be your health, is living, surviving to the next day, being able to do things easier. And this is why I despise the fat acceptance movement, because it is almost delusional to me. It's almost delusional that these people think that their clearly unhealthy position is beautiful or is fine, and it's not. I mean, again, and then you got the people in Hollywood who kind of make that shit a hell of a lot worse, especially when they call people who are, I wouldn't even really say thick, I'd say fucking normal. Like Jennifer Lawrence, she's not a fat person. She's fucking normal. She's a normal fucking person in Hollywood, and people are making her out to be like she's fat or some shit. Or, I think there's a couple interviews where she was like, people consider me to be fat. And when you say stupid shit like that, especially to fat people who are struggling to lose some weight, I mean, of course it's gonna hurt their fucking feelings, because they're like, well, if that's fat, what the fuck am I? A goddamn fire-breathing fat dragon, you know what I'm saying? Like, am I just a fucking food vacuum cleaner? Right? So I understand, getting your feelings hurt when you're fat, but I think most important thing, is instead of when the whole fat acceptance movement, it should be like, I think a real honest question you have to ask yourself when you're overweight is, are you happy being overweight? I mean, and if the answer is yes, well then, okay, fine, that's your prerogative, do whatever you want to fucking do. But if you don't, well then you gotta put in some effort and learn some new nutrition guides and lose weight and whatnot, because I mean, it's stupid, it's ludicrous to me. And when I say this, of course, I'm gonna have to go off and say that there are some people who are indeed suffering from different conditions, and some people are dealing with stress and lack of time and whatnot. I completely understand that. I'm talking about the people who don't have medical problems like thyroid conditions or heredity or fucking genes or genetics and all that. I'm talking about people who ate themselves to a fucking fat ass level. I'm talking about those people. If you ate yourself to that level, you can work your ass off to get back down to level or lose some weight and all that goodness and all that jazz, So the fat acceptance movement is just ridiculous to me, because, I mean, like I said, it's delusional. It's delusional. Like, being overweight is clearly a fucking problem. And you're not going to help anybody by acting like it isn't, okay? So the whole next thing is the whole fat shaming thing. Now, fat shaming is just hypersensitivity to a level never fucking seen before. Now, again, being overweight can have a lot of serious self-esteem issues. You're saying, I mean, there's lots of things that affect self-esteem. So a lot of fat people probably are dealing with self-esteem issues. And with that comes hypersensitivity, unfortunately. And when you put that in together with a social justice warrior, you get a complete fucking disaster. Thus, fat shaming. So, there's this one lady, if I remember her name correctly, I think her name's Maria Kang or something like that, some Asian lady, who posted up a picture, and she's like, what's your excuse, right? Now, she was an overweight woman, and she worked her behind off with her she had to take care of 3 kids, had a job and all that. She found time to work out, lost some weight. She was happy. She's like, hey, look, if I can do it, you can do it too. And Facebook fucking flipped shit. A bunch of fat people got upset, because of what I said earlier. They say Maria Kang didn't take into account that some people have medical issues and it's tough for them and they have a slow metabolism. Okay, that's true, but I'm pretty sure Maria Kang wasn't fucking talking to those people. She's talking to the people who are just flat out, who are just lazy. Like, let's be honest, we got a lot of lazy people in the world who don't have these super horrible genetics, who just don't want to fucking do it, right? Or just sad, right? And so it kind of leads me to another point that I have to talk about here, and one thing that I just cannot fucking stand hearing, and I just watched a Lacey Green video to help me prepare to make this shit. I don't think I need to make a video response, but it is when people who talk about fat acceptance and fat shame say that people who tell you you need to lose weight, say they care about you, they don't really care. They're just saying that to hurt your feelings or just to shame you. And I'm like, you delusional dumbass. You don't understand what love is. You don't understand what caring about somebody is. If you genuinely think that someone telling you to lose weight is just doing that because they hate you, well then you're fucking foolish, right? You are a foolish person. Now granted, a lot of people are really selfish, and some people have this superiority complex and they say mean things to feel better about themselves. This is true. This happens. But if someone in your family member or friend is telling you to lose weight, they're not telling you that because they hate you. Let me tell you something. If someone really hated you and they think you being fat was a bad thing, the very last fucking thing they do is tell you to lose weight. Why? Because they hate you. They don't want you to feel good about yourself. They don't want you to feel better. Really, if someone really thought that being fat was bad and they hated you, oh, they'd give you Twinkies. They'd order fucking pizza for you. They'd take you out to fucking Golden Corral. Why? Because they think being fat's bad. So they're gonna put you in a situation where you can just get worse. But someone who loves you, who cares about you, is gonna say, hey, look man, this isn't healthy, you need to do something better. Okay? Or will encourage you to lose weight. Now granted, there's a wrong and a right way to galvanize somebody to do something, and this is where the whole fat shaming thing comes from. You know, a lot of people think that negative criticism is the best motivator. So I can speak from personal experience that I completely understand. Negative criticism is not the best way to motivate everybody. It works for some people, it doesn't work for all people. Negative criticism does not help me out very much. Like when people tell me that I'm just stupid, or you know, or people are just like, you know, stop acting like a girl, stop kicking like it just, when I was younger, it didn't help me out. You know, now as an adult, negative criticism helps me out a lot more. I can pull out the value from it, you know, because I don't let my feelings get hurt by the insults. But when I was younger, I completely understand that negative criticism might not be the best way to galvanize somebody into doing something. So to that level of fat shaming, I completely understand, you know. There's a wrong and a right way to get somebody to lose weight. Absolutely. You know, there's a wrong, I mean, everybody's different, and they respond to criticism and they respond to everything differently, right? Especially men and women, but that's another topic for another time. So, like I said, so again, you know, that I get it, that someone calling you fat all the time is going to hurt your feelings, and that might not be the best motivator for you. But I think what's important is, instead of getting your feelings hurt, you register and you realize that they're not saying this because they hate you or because they want you to feel bad. You know, a friend or a family member who really cares about you, who really loves you, is gonna push you out of your fucking comfort zone, and it's gonna get you to start making better decisions about your life. They're not gonna let you go and eat a whole bunch of fucking pizzas, you know? They're not gonna let you go do something they think is wrong. If someone genuinely thinks you're doing something wrong and they care about you, they're not gonna let you keep fucking doing it. Right? So, I really hope if you get anything out of this video, you get that core aspect, that someone who cares, that someone telling you to lose weight, they're not doing it because they hate you, okay? Someone who really hated you would not tell you to lose weight. They would let you keep eating until you friggin' died. Why? Because they hate you. That's why. Yeah. So with that aspect going on, I think here's the last thing we can talk about with this whole fat acceptance and fat shaming movement is attractiveness. Now, as I said earlier in the video, the very last thing a fat person really needs to worry about is whether or not they're pulling anybody or whether or not they're attractive. And I'm talking about like obese level fatness. I'm talking about 300 pounds, right? Like if you're 300 pounds and that's not muscle, you need to lose some fucking weight. Sorry, there ain't no other way to put it. Sorry. You gotta do something. You gotta do something fucking different, okay? You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not healthy. And you know, actually, and maybe that's not even entirely true, because my old roommate, my friend Tom, he's like 300 pounds, and he's a football player, you know. So I think that's different. You know, when you're playing a sport and your job requires you being a big guy, that's completely different, because their hearts are pretty strong because they're still doing cardio, you know. But due to the diet that they eat, well, that's kind of going off on a tangent. The point that I'm making is, that's not most people who are 300 pounds of fat, they aren't fucking athletes, is what I'm saying. And so when you hit that level of obesity, or when you can't walk up a flight of stairs, or when easy stuff is really difficult, that's when you really do need to lose weight. I don't really think being attractive should be all that fucking important. But you know, the thing is, I honestly, and this is just me personally, is I'm actually more attracted to more like thicker women anyway. So when it comes to fat people, I don't, you know, fat doesn't really bother me all too much. And I think it might have something to do with the fact that my mom is overweight and my little sister's overweight. So I mean, I love them. It doesn't really matter to me. But what does matter to me when it comes to my mom and my little sister is whether or not they're healthy. I don't damn what they look like, you know, they mean a lot to me. And that's kind of how I feel about, you know, other women, really, you know. I mean, most important thing in a relationship to me is, you know, how you treat me, but that's for another video. The point that I'm making is, you know, when they say I'm more than a number on the scale, you're right. The way you treat people is more important, but your health is also an important factor too, and you can't separate that from your existence, you know. And I feel like a lot of people, the whole fat acceptance movement, they get stuck on the whole aesthetic thing that, like, you know, I am beautiful, I am attractive, and they get caught on that superficial level of, hey, just I'm beautiful and I don't need you to tell me I'm beautiful. Okay, well, that's all fine and dandy, but are you healthy? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all fine and dandy that you think that you're good looking. Okay, everybody needs some self-confidence, but it's important that it doesn't get to a level of like false confidence, to a level of where you portray this image that you feel good about yourself, and you have all these plus size models, but on the inside they know they're not healthy, or on the inside they know damn well they don't feel good about themselves, and they just put out this facade for everybody around them, because that's no way to live about for anything, really, you know. And so I think that's pretty much all I have to say in this video about fat shaming. So I guess to kind of sum it all up, man, I think the whole fat acceptance movement is delusional. I don't think that is helping anybody out. Being fat, objectively speaking, is detrimental to your health. There's no way to remedy that, you know, unless you are exercising, doing a lot of cardio, unless you're working on it. Some people have conditions to where they need help losing weight, and those people, you know, they're fine, you know. You do all you can do, but most of the time, the messages of losing weight is not going out to those people. It's going out to people who are lazy, or who very well have time and they don't want to use it. That's usually who the target audience is. You don't try to sell P90X to people with thyroid conditions. You're selling it to people who are in, relatively speaking, normal conditions, right? And I think more importantly, instead of focusing on aesthetics, and instead of focusing on whether or not you're beautiful, you need to primarily focus on your health. Okay, that is 100 times more important than anything. Because ironically speaking, when it comes to even being attracted to someone, the whole reason you're even attracted to someone physically is because it is the surface level indicator of health, and of course you want to have healthy children, so that should always be the primary objective when it comes to your body. So that's all I have to say, pretty much. So guys, as always, if you like this video, please go ahead and click the like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, have a great day, and I'll see you cool cats soon.